Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Radically Real. I am very excited to be here with you again for another episode. I have today here with a dear friend of mine who I think we said 7 years? 8 years.
I think
I don't know
so.
how many years. A lot. We've never met in person, just on social media. Akari, tell everybody who you are, what you're up to, and what you're doing.
My name is Akari Busto, and I live in Long Beach, California. I know. I
Sends
know.
me pictures of the beach. Fuck you.
I know. You know what? What did I say? It's by design. Um,
Yes, true. Yeah.
I work with women with their nervous system. And here's the catch. I work with women with their nervous system to give them an opportunity to change their lineage
Mm-hmm.
by helping them be a different parent, be a different spouse, be a different daughter, be a different sister, be a different friend by regulating her nervous system, teaching her how to respond to life instead of react.
Yeah, and I think, I totally resonate with that because I spent like we talked about this. Well, you saw it in my post. I spent like the last year and a bit like recovering and re-regulating my nervous system from like boss babe burnout, which is a real fucking thing, people. It's a real thing. Like I was go 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 all the time, and then when I finally made the decision back in 2020 that I was going to shut everything down, it didn't happen until 2024. But I didn't know what to do with myself. I was totally dysregulated. I was in this freaking fog for almost a year. Like the veil just started lifting in like November. I was like, I think I'm me again.
Yeah, but there's so many layers of what you're saying, and with the burnout, yeah, and also you have to understand that like you're a mom,
Oh God, yeah.
and
To three. There's three of them now.
so but that's a big thing. So you're running a business.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking care of little humans who, are constantly needing something
Mm-hmm.
and attention, and they deserve it. But
Of course.
putting yourself last is what I see that happens when we experience burnout. And it doesn't happen like right away. It's like a gradual thing. Like our bodies are so resilient that we can put up with a lot. But typically when I when I meet a woman, typically a woman comes to me when she's like, I'm just about to crash and
Yep.
burn.
Yep.
And what makes me different than a lot of different coaches is that I always say, all right, I need to see some blood work. I need to see
Mm-hmm.
where your sugar is at. Because what ends up happening is that it's like we're a whole system, but the medical system has taught us that you only see pieces of us.
Well, they don't teach us really anything.
Oh no, they don't. But no, but they do teach us that. They do teach us that nothing is like one whole piece.
Of
They're
course.
like the heart and the spleen and the foot, and you don't realize that all of these things speak to each other
Yeah, they
because
work together.
these doctors aren't even talking to each other to get confirmation on things.
Yep.
So when we start looking at burnout and everything that you had to go through, it is like a compilation of things. I mean, having two children,
Mm-hmm.
having a third, having like two different businesses running,
Mm-hmm.
having a husband, having a home, juggling
Mm-hmm.
it all that, juggling it
Yeah.
all and trying to keep it all together.
Yep. Which I did.
Of course you did.
Which
Hello,
I
you're a woman.
Hello, we just do it fucking all.
Uh,
Which I did, but in 2020, when everything came to a grinding halt and my business got shut down by the government, when it was time to go back, because we were closed for 3.5 months, it was time to go back. And anyone who's listened to the podcast now, they're going to know what I'm about to say. I was like, I don't want to go back. I actually fucking hate my life. I was like, I hate this business. I don't want this business anymore. This sucks the life out of me. I love being home with the kid. I only had at the time. Well, anyways, I only had at the time, and we were just baking bread and having fun and playing and just being a mom. Just that's it. It was being a mom, which is the most important job in the world. And yeah, they announced the opening, and I was like, I have to figure a way out of this because I don't want this anymore. I don't want it anymore. I'm always been very self-aware, so that when I was in this year of like re-regulation, we'll call it, because your nervous system was used to one way and you did it because that's what you were used to. Then I had to get used to like the new way of just not having chaos
yeah.
in your life.
Shifting your baseline is what it's called.
Okay, shifting my baseline. I shifted that shit. I shifted that shit, and it was dark and deep. But in the best way, because I am so self-aware. I was feeling all of these emotions, but fully aware that this is not none of what I'm saying is true. This isn't true. I'm working my way through this, and like I said in November, I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel like feeling okay again.
It takes
but
a while. It
It
takes
takes a while, and because I was self-aware where I can feel 2 emotions simultaneously, like, in this deep, dark, like, "What the fuck is wrong with me?" hole, and in the exact same time going, "You're gonna find your way out of this. Everything is okay. You're good. It's all good. You're doing the things. You have everything that you asked for,"
Mhm.
which is the biggest thing that I think a lot of people sometimes miss when they're trying to figure it out. It's like, I literally have every single thing that I asked for right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And we kind of miss that as well because we're so stuck in the grind of, processing so much information.
Mhm.
And
Especially now.
and think about the processing of information that is happening at the same time that you're holding space for your children. So it's like you're growing up with your children. And
Mhm.
and and as you are holding space for them, it's like your little inner child is also growing because you're feeding them stuff that maybe was never part of our parents' awareness.
100%. 100%. And I think not a lot of people know this about me, but, like, I was scared to become a mom
Mhm.
because I thought to myself, like, "What if I have a daughter and she feels like how I felt growing up?"
Yeah.
That would be terrible. But then because I'm able to, kind of, like, self-regulate, I was like, "But I'm so self-aware of it that I would never, ever, like, let her feel that way." And I remember my final straw with my mom. There's a whole history of stuff. It would take a 5-hour podcast to, like, go into it.
Let's do it. Go.
But I remember my last straw with my mom is I was pregnant with and she hadn't spoken to me in probably 2 years because that's what she did. Came in and out whenever she pleased. And the last time we, like, saw each other in person, it was not good, so anyways, she sent me flowers to my shop, and I was pregnant, and I got the flowers, and I just thought to myself that day, I was like, "Nope, you don't get to decide anymore when you wanna be in my life." That's a hard no for me, and that was that. The emotion, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulder. She sent me these flowers, and I was like, "Oh, carrying a child inside." I love this kid more than anything I've ever loved in my life. I haven't even met it yet. Don't know if it's a boy, don't know if it's a girl, I don't know anything. I would think I was, like, so early on, like, it's gotta be maybe only 7 or 8 weeks, so she sends me these flowers, and then I was like, "No, you don't get to decide this anymore," and then I was just, like, so over it. You kinda get to that point where you're like, "No, you don't have this hold on me anymore."
Yeah, the energy it's all energy. And
Yes,
and I think that we live in a culture and we've always lived in this culture of we honor the mother and the mother can do no wrong. And it's not true. It is not
it is
true.
not true, it is not true. I mean, if you're comfortable, I would love for you to share your story if you're
I
comfortable
had a
with it.
really I had a very tumultuous relationship with my mother. It's what we would say complicated.
Yeah. Trigger warning for anyone, you may not wanna listen.
My relationship with my mother has always been super complicated. I was born in Mexico City, and my father left us, and, she decided that she was coming to the States. Her mother was born in Texas, so therefore, she come and move here. So she moves here and, meets a man and just moves on with her life. So I always felt like the other, the one
Mhm.
who was not included. And there was a lot of there was lack of safety. And I think just, I'm a Gen Xer, right? I was raised by myself.
Yep.
And
Yeah. I'm
and
like an elder millennial, so, like, right behind you.
okay, so there's this whole thing around being raised by yourself and trying to figure things out and not really
Mhm.
understanding things. And unfortunately, she married into a much more ignorant family. Like he was an immigrant and they were agriculturists. They worked in the fields. And so here comes a woman from the city to meet up with a farmer. And we've all seen the movies, we've all seen the things, right? Like they're just two different worlds and
Yeah.
they just don't They don't jive. They don't see eye to eye. They had a lot of similar values, but there was so much trauma and so much anger in the relationship that there was just chaos. We're
Mhm.
talking about chaos.
Mhm.
And the amount of chaos that created in in just my life was kinda crazy because she had kid after kid after kid after kid after kid.
How
And
many
so
siblings do you have?
I have 4 siblings from her,
Yep.
and then from my father, I have 2. So I'm also an only child, and that creates a whole other, can
Dynamic.
yeah, and can of worms, right? Because I'm the other. So my stepmother was not nice, and my stepfather was definitely not nice, and so a lot of the trauma that I experienced were from my step-parents, and from my parents not knowing how to defend me or how to give me my place.
Mhm.
So it created a lot of not safe spaces for me where, unfortunately, I have been molested and abused by men, and it's a really delicate subject for me when we talk about what's happening in the world, and you and I were discussing this.
Mhm.
I look at children as being like the most precious commodity that any of us could ever have.
Like life's biggest blessing. I would have more if I wasn't gonna be 44 in a couple weeks.
Well, and more doesn't mean better, but what we're when we look at children and the future of what is available. And then we look at these systemic ways of operating like our government, right? These raids, these ways of just going in and just yanking kids out of schools, creating this systemic trauma. And the data is now here. We understand that when you create systemic trauma, it brings the people down for at least 7 generations.
Yeah, generational trauma.
It is systemic generational trauma. It is on purpose because it's not like I'm a rocket scientist and I've
Are
come
you
up with
sure?
this. I didn't make
Are
this
you
up.
sure? Maybe Elon will give you a job.
God, no way.
I'm just kidding.
Pass. Hard pass. So, when we look at the safety of our children and what that means, like, I don't think we fully understand, and we also take life for granted. We don't realize how hard, especially nowadays because of all of the EMF and everything that's shifting and changing, how infertility rates continue to rise.
Mhm.
And as infertility rises, we're not connecting the dots with what's happening around the world with the EMF, with like these I think today was like the new RX program that just got rolled out for the states where they're like giving you discounted rates for weight loss drugs. So now they're going to be passing them out like candy.
Which is
And
really sad because, like, you have all these celebs going on and on about Ozempic and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, because everyone looks to celebrities like, oh, I want to be like that, or I want to look like that, or I want to blah, blah, blah. It's like you could literally just change your diet.
yes, and that's what the whole thing is that there's no full disclosure, and especially celebrities because they have a chef, they have a coach, they have, a nutritionist. It's
They have a gym in their house, like not a garage gym, a real gym.
but we're missing the full disclosure
Yeah.
and we're missing the full story.
We see highlight reels, right?
And yeah, well, the way I look at it is like you're seeing a trailer, but
Yeah.
you're not seeing the full picture, the
Yeah.
full movie.
Yeah.
And so we're making the rest of the ideas and the rest of the movies up in our heads, and it's just not the full thing. And that's a big thing for me. When we talk about nervous system, if you are not feeding your body, your vehicle, your temple
Mm-hmm.
wholesome food,
Yep.
and I have had these discussions,
Mm-hmm.
it's like if you're not feeding yourself and your children, like, enough protein,
Yeah.
you're not setting them up to win, and you're not setting yourself up to win. Like, how many times did I run out of the house at 5 in the morning to go to my corporate job, and it didn't even dawn on me that I had not had a glass of water?
I will admit it, I am, like, the worst for drinking water, but I try and get a full 40 ounces in every day. That is, like, about what I can take right now, but I'm so bad for that. I would go hours and hours and hours and hours without eating at the shop
Yeah.
and then run to the convenience store and get a bag of, like, Jubes and be like, "Just having some fruit."
It is so sad the lack of education that we have around being human, but that is what it is. I think that they send us to school, right, to allow us to forget the basics of humanity,
They
and then they
send
put
us
us in
to school so we become robots.
then they put us in front of the tube to
Yeah,
learn,
yeah,
what's expected of us. The house, the picket fence, the 2
yeah,
kids, the dog, the cat, and
yeah.
the husband, and all that other stuff. So we've been conditioned and programmed in so many different ways,
Oh
and
my god, yeah, since, like, kindergarten. It starts in kindergarten.
gosh, I think it starts before that at this point because, everything that passes on from, the parents through the lineage, through the
That's so true, and I think for myself, and I don't know, I could be pulling this out of my ass, but I think that I was born to be the cycle breaker.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I
That's what
think
they
I
call
was.
black
Just
sheep.
not to toot my own horn, but I think that's what's happening.
I think they call you black sheep.
One and the thing is that you are, right?
Mhm.
Like, you look at the black sheeps and you're like, "It's so true." Like, I remember some would call me defiant, but I would call it like I saw it. My mom was an alcoholic, so if she was drinking and she was trying to speak to me or do something, I'd be like, "Are you drunk right now?" Because like, I would literally be like, "I don't think this conversation should be happening right now because you are intoxicated." So and I would just be like, "No, I'm not. Nope, it's not happening." And I did a lot of that growing up. Like, my mom was the mom that she'd be like, "Can you empty the dishwasher?" If I wasn't emptying the dishwasher in point 0.5 seconds, like, after that, she's losing her shit. I was like, "Do I ever not fucking empty the dishwasher when you ask me to empty the dishwasher? Like, I'm doing my homework."
Yeah, isn't it amazing? And then I have to sit back and then wonder, what happened to her?
Well, and exactly. I've talked to my aunt a lot about my mom passed away a few years ago. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, she
Sorry.
passed away in 2021 while I was pregnant with actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Um, I talked to my aunt a lot about that, and we had a really interesting conversation, and I know that you'll agree with me, is that each child experiences a different parent,
Yeah, for sure.
right? And I think that my mom was difficult. I think we were actually a lot alike. She was outspoken, she defiant, like left home really early, like just all of those things, but abused drugs, abused alcohol. I didn't do any of that. Um, Abused alcohol and just was like, I don't want to say a bad seed, but kind of like a bad seed. And I think that they didn't know what to do with her. So they just like I don't know what they did with her.
That is so common, though. It's so common that the child that requires more attention gets the least
Yeah.
attention,
Yeah.
and the kind of help that sometimes that child needs, the parents have no awareness
Yeah,
or
like, they don't
or
think that you
curiosity, right?
they
Like,
don't think that yeah, you need them. They don't think you need them. It's like, "Well, I'm a child. Of course I need a parent." Like,
Yeah, see, I look at my mother's life and I just go, "Oh my god, woman, like, I don't know how you survived this." So her mother passed away when she was on I think she wasn't even 5 years old when her mom passed away. And, left my grandfather with 3 young kids, and he had no idea what to do, so he ended up just becoming an alcoholic from imagine, like, he's losing the love of his life. Then he's, like, left with this huge responsibility. So, like, my mother and her siblings were basically looking after a drunk. I mean, you don't get any more hypervigilant. So when I'm thinking, like, where was her head when all of this stuff was happening with me, it's like, I don't think
so
that
she
she
was
had
searching
the
for
capacity.
perfection, and it doesn't exist.
I don't think she had the capacity to look outside of what, like, her duties of, like, making sure her house is clean, making sure that, she's made food. I have to say, we were very lucky to be raised with no such thing as processed foods, right? Like, that was, like, not a thing in our home.
No,
It was like a
us
like,
neither.
it was like a sin.
Well, and yeah, like, my mom would I mean, I think the most sugary cereal we ever got was, like, Raisin Bran or something like that,
Yeah,
like
we were the other way, like, we were given, like, these cereals that had 0 sugar in it, and then we had sugar.
And put we would do that too. Oh, yeah. You'd have, like, Cheerios or corn flakes and then just, like or brown sugar on your cereal. Fuck yeah, it's so good. That's like a it's like a '80s thing, and you just put, like or we would put corn syrup on our waffles and
Oh my god. I
the big yellow thing of corn syrup. You guys have
oh,
that?
no, we didn't have
Oh,
that.
yeah, that was the best.
No, but
Buttery corn syrup.
I do remember the corn oil, that Mazola, and
So funny.
it's so wild, right?
I know. Well,
We're
it's a
not eating
different
processed
time.
food, but we're eating, seed oils.
I know. Well, and then, like, you have a whole generation, which I think that they're changing now from what I understand is that because you have Gen Z that sort of came up on screens and then they're realizing that they're all not smart. And I was going to say something else. I was like, I got to stop myself. They're all not smart. And not all of them, but a lot of them, like, can't even read cursive. Like,
Yeah.
so they have switched to, like, kind of reeling back on that in some
Um,
places. I don't know if all places because they were teaching everyone, like, on iPads and computers and blah, 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 all this stuff. And, I just couldn't believe, like, even, like, I write cursive all the time, so, like, my employees were Gen Z, they couldn't read what I was writing. They
oh my
couldn't read what
god.
I was writing. But I notice even, like, kids that watch YouTube or have screens all the time, or they're at the grocery store and they're staring at their mom's phones, or just kids that I know personally that are, like, on screens, like, the behavioral shit is so bad.
You know, I just feel so lucky that that wasn't available when I was raising my daughter. It makes me so like, I'm like, gosh, thank God for the old ways, you know? It's a hard I mean, we used to say, "Oh, it was harder back then." It is so hard right now
It is.
because as a parent, you're just pulled in so many different directions, and the lack of support in our communities, we don't have communities. As much as I try to be available for, my younger siblings who are now having children and spending time with their kids, when their kids are here with me, there is no TV on, there is no I mean, I don't have access to anything for them. We're either playing outside, we're playing the
Yeah.
piano, we're talking, we're doing something. Um, yeah, it just depends on the values of the people around you.
Well, it's interesting. So my kids both had iPads, and I took them away from them in last May or April or something. I took them away because I just noticed the stuff, and I wasn't letting them have them all the time, but I just started noticing the things that I was kind of seeing in other children, and I was like, I'm not fucking doing this. So I took them away from them, and they haven't had them since. And it's like if your my kids were good with it because they didn't have them that much, but enough to where I could see the behavioral stuff, I was like, "No, I'm not gonna let them have these things anymore." So it's been almost a full year without them. And sometimes they're like, "We're bored. What can we do?" And I'm like, "I don't know, figure it out. Figure it out. Like, use
Yeah.
your imagination to think of something to do." But, like, the difference between how they are now to how they were then is it's insane.
Hmm.
It's insane. Like, this morning, we built a fort in the living room. So the whole living room upstairs is a fort right now. So it's like when I told people that I was taking the iPads away, they were like, "Oh god, I could never do that."
Then I have to parent? What?
Well, then I have to do stuff with my kids.
Yeah.
We built that fort yesterday too. Let me tell you, they played on in that fort all day. I didn't have to entertain them. They were having a blast on their own.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like I think that the screens are doing damage.
Well, they're taking away the creativity from the child, you know? They're
They should be bored a little bit.
well, it is okay to be bored. It's how we learn how to entertain ourselves.
Exactly. Figure it the fuck out. You have a mind. You can use it.
Yeah, there's so many different things that technology brings, right? And at the same time, it takes away. It
It
brings us a
does.
lot, but then it takes a lot away from us
It can.
in general. And this is just part of the struggle, right? It's
Mhm.
gonna continue becoming the struggle. It's learning how to navigate and how to find ways because if adults are addicted to their phones and their iPads, it's no surprise.
Yep. And it's the same thing.
Oh, same thing. And
Yep.
but I mean, this is where I challenge. How many times when we were growing up, men have like newspapers right in front of them and there was no communication, no contact, no connection. So it's just a new way, and this new way actually damages generations that are younger because
Yeah.
they're basically putting up their newspaper and the bound.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I remember, do you remember when OJ's trial was on?
Mm,
Like, how many years ago was that? That had to be
80s, no, 90s, yeah.
95, 94. I don't remember when it was. My mom watched the whole thing, recorded the whole thing. I think we watched that trial from start to finish. I will never forget that because Court TV was on in my house. We were we were lucky when we were kids. We had satellite that got like US channels and stuff. So, we watched that freaking. I just remember hating my life then. I was like, can't talk to my mom because she's too busy watching this trial. I can't watch TV because my mom's too busy watching this trial. Because even on the weekends, she would watch what she missed because she recorded on like our VCR.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so crazy. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it.
That's wild.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
That
What a
is
time. Like I remember that, but it's the perfect example of like that distraction. You couldn't talk to her about anything because she
yeah,
was so like
consumed.
zoomed right
Yeah.
into that. And I mean, I feel like it affected her, and we just talked about this before we got on, and I'd love for you to share with everybody about regulating their nervous system with what they're seeing because like obviously I create content around some controversial topics, and I don't allow that those topics or everything that's going on to like eat away at me, or I don't sit there and cry. I think it's horrible. You know, I think all of this is horrible. I don't want anyone to think that I'm like this cold person. I think it's horrible. But I think that you need to be very self-aware of when you need to stop looking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's in a perfect world, yes. In a perfect world, yes. But sometimes, as I was sharing with you, we become addicted to our own emotions. And
Mhm.
big emotions are very addictive.
Mhm.
And even though it hurts, there's a part of us that continues to go after that same hurt. And it's just
Yeah.
like a loop, right?
Yeah.
They're called trauma loops. Stuck in a trauma loop, and it is not very easy to pull yourself out of a trauma loop. Another loop would be a shame loop, right? Where we're shaming ourselves, where we're blaming ourselves for that something happening to us. And so when we go into these loops, it is very difficult. I know for myself,
Mhm.
going into shame loops, it would take me forever to get over, right? Few days, and I would still be shaming myself for whatever I did or say or anything that may have upset someone. My little people pleaser, right, would really hurt. So it takes work. It takes awareness and it takes
Mhm.
practice
Yeah.
because our baseline, right? We talk about that baseline.
Yep.
Our baseline is what it is. This is
Yep.
our normal. This is our autopilot. This is
Yep.
what I go to any given time that I'm triggered. So when we start to slowly navigate that is reminding yourself that it's okay, that you are human,
Mhm.
that it's okay for you to experience this, and it's also okay for you not to get boggled down with it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And well, that creator I told you about, Becky, why she put that post out and said, like, if you find that the things that you are consuming are affecting your mental health, well, they could talk to Akari. You could talk to Akari.
Yeah, send them my way.
They could talk to you.
Yes, because here's the thing, and here's what we don't talk about is that when we are experiencing these big feelings,
Yeah.
we isolate.
Yeah.
What are we isolating? We're isolating and we're scrolling, right? We're
Mhm.
isolating and we're scrolling. And what we really need is connection. And connection is so hard when you're in these loops. But that is the antithesis. That is what heals and transforms and reconnects is connection,
Yeah.
not more isolation. The more we isolate, and the way I like to describe it is like if I'm my own person and I am going to rely on myself to get to the next level,
Yep.
well, this is all I know. like I know what I know. It's not like
Yeah.
I know anything else that I'm hiding from myself.
100%.
I already know what I know, and I need to tap into someone else's like other levels because those other levels are the ones that are gonna help me get out of where I'm at.
Yeah, 100%, and I think
That
if you
that
even
is what we need.
100%, and I think if you find yourself questioning, like, "Hey, the stuff that I'm watching or the stuff that I'm consuming is actually now affecting my emotional state," like, that's the first step to awareness is like, "Okay, like, watching this makes me feel sad." That's your cue. Like, that is your cue. It's hard to, like, pull yourself away from all of the things that are happening right now, but that is your cue. Like, if it makes you feel like shit, you gotta stop consuming things that make you feel like shit. Now, I watch a lot of things that make me feel like shit, but they make me wanna do something about it, so that actually fires me up, so it's very nuanced.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
um, I just have had some people in my DMs saying, "Oh, this is making me sad to see," and, like, "I feel like should protect my mental health." I said, "You should. Don't watch these things if that's what you're feeling. Protect your mental health at all costs."
And again, some of us have no awareness around things that are triggering us or how we are reacting.
Mhm.
So it's not like we can throw a blanket statement around, yeah, just don't do this. But then tell me really what I should be doing because sometimes we don't even know what we don't even know.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think when you notice yourself feeling sad, that's the first step to awareness, and then you move from that place.
Yeah, but I mean, so it's giving an action like stop and pause and like connect to your heart, allow
Yeah.
yourself to feel grounded, to know that you're safe, right? Because that's what it
Yeah.
is. This lack of safety is what brings you into these spaces. So if you're
Like a
feeling this
spiral.
way, right? So it's not just turn away. Like I can say that all day. Just turn away. Just don't look. Just and what
Well,
we
be
need to do.
aware. We always wanna be aware. You
But
can't fully
again,
turn
it's
away.
it's a really big blanket statement. So
Yeah.
it's like you're talking to a 3rd grader, right? It's like because remember, the majority of our trauma happened from birth to like the age of 7.
Mhm.
And for the majority of us, we well, yes, we were all like nonverbal. Like we couldn't identify feeling. And more so if there was so much, conflicting information coming at you all the time. So, really, do not consume this. Instead, go outside and put your bare feet on the ground.
Yes. Yes.
Or, you're icy cold where you're at.
Yeah.
Go outside and feel the cold and then come back in.
Well, I check for eggs, like,
Cold exposure.
25 times a day so they don't freeze.
But cold exposure is really good. Putting your face in cold water with
Yep.
ice,
Yep.
and this will help you regulate
Yeah.
immediately.
Well, do things that feel good, like,
So
don't just turn away.
I agree, turn away,
Yeah.
but
And
turn
do
away
things that make you feel good, and
and go
yes,
or maybe
talk
they
to
don't feel
Akari,
good, but
talk
go
to
do
Akari.
something. Yeah, talk to me. But, really like
I do.
giving these little nuggets of wisdom or nuggets of kindness because not everyone knows that there are steps that they can take, otherwise they wouldn't be stuck.
Yes, exactly, exactly, and that's one of the biggest things is do things that make you feel good, and we talked about this earlier too, is, like, that is a form of self-care.
Yes.
Just a little thing, like, this morning, I had to go take a tire to town to get it sealed, and, like,
So fun.
yeah, it was nice because you know why? I just drove. It's beautiful here. It's the prairies and it's quiet. And I really enjoyed that. And for me, like getting away from the house for even if it's half an hour is a form of self care for me. And I like to drive. Sometimes that's how I unwind. I'll be like, I'm going to go for a drive. I'll listen to some tunes. And I'm just like, like totally good with it. It's like find that one thing or a few things or whatever it is when you're starting to feel like you're consuming too much negativity on the media, social media, or people that you're around. It's like get away from those people and do things that ground you, bring you back.
Yeah, that bring you joy. So in my meditations, I always go into a place of joy, but that doesn't happen immediately. So
For
I always say,
sure.
find your neutral, right? Neutralize what feels gunky, and then find your joy. So I always say, imagine babies like chubby cheeks. Imagine like like puppies playing. or
Or a
like,
little puppy breath, puppy breath. It smells so good.
ew.
It does. Puppies have that
Uh,
cute little breath. They
well,
do.
okay. Um,
Not dogs, puppies.
I know, yeah.
I'm a cat person, so I actually don't care for
Chicken
dogs, but
chickens plain, like your little chickies plain, like,
yeah.
there's just so many little bits and pieces of things that bring you joy. Your
Yeah.
favorite color, the rainbow, like,
Yeah.
looking at the sun outside,
Yeah.
like, so many different things that can be super basic,
Yeah.
but could be so helpful to remind you that you are in the present and you are safe right now.
And that's the thing I have to look at when I was kind of coming out of that burnout phase of that like fog of just sort of dysregulation was reminding myself and being very aware that like I literally had everything I asked for. And I found gratitude. And I think that's another thing. It could be something so simple. People are like, oh, that's such a cliche thing to say. And it is a little bit. But it's like when we really think about it, you really do have the most minor things that you could truly be grateful for. Like this morning, I went out to the chicken coop to check on the chickens. There was some eggs. Like, that's so cool. That makes me happy. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like you have little things in your life. Everyone has little things in their life. They can't say that they don't because there is something that brings you joy and makes you feel gratitude.
It could be silly, like I said, I just imagine, like, the cheeks of little babies or the giggles of little babies. Oh my gosh,
It's the
right? Like,
best.
they're
Yeah.
contagious.
Yeah.
Um,
My littlest now, anytime she does anything, she goes, "Watch, watch." That's the best, like, it's so
yeah,
cute.
yeah, and I think those are the things that we have to carry within. Those are the little nuggets
Yeah,
that we get.
even my drive this morning, like, the sky is blue, like, it's so nice out, like, you can see the snow's dirty, which means it's gonna start to melt soon, like, there's just those little things that, like, yeah, it looks kinda gross out because there's snow everywhere, but when there's dirt on the snow, you know that spring is coming. So, like, you can find those tiny little things that seem so minuscule, but they are there if you're open to seeing them.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to be open to seeing them
And
and in
and
a
that's where
place.
and that's where we need to give more information. That is, I think, where we can actually help people is by giving examples of what you can do to just bring yourself back into this place because we end up the brain doesn't know. Here's the thing. I love the brain. The brain doesn't know if you're living in the past, in the present, or the future.
Mhm.
So in this moment, if you go backwards and have these thoughts, it thinks it's happening in the moment. So
Yeah.
I've noticed when I snap at my partner, it's because he reminds me of my mother in one way or another, and it triggers me.
Yeah.
I'm not responding to his action at the moment. I'm responding to how I felt when my mom did that same
Yeah,
thing.
like your perception of what's happening in that moment.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
so and so in the moment, everything that's in the news, all the noise, all the chaos is going to take you to a place of reaction from the past. And so it's really that's why I'm saying it's so important to have something tangible
Yeah.
to help us come back to like the present, the now, put my feet on the ground. I'm safe. There's no one running after me. I'm not, fighting for my life. And if I am, then you definitely need to ask for help and connection.
Absolutely, you do. And when you have those thoughts, that's when you need to say to yourself, "Okay, I need to talk to someone. I need to hone this in here. I need to just like take a step back. What am I consuming that's making me feel this way? Why does it make me feel this way? And what can I do to not feel this way?" But definitely talking to someone if you're getting deep down into a rabbit hole that you feel like you can't get yourself out of, which I think a lot of people are right now with everything that's
Well, it's just
going
noisy.
on.
It's noisy, it's ugly, it's scary.
Mhm.
A lot of things that again are triggering us backwards, right? They're triggering us to a time, again, for many of us, the abuse happened when we were very young, and so
Mhm.
we're going to revert to that same space, and it's getting stuck there. It's okay to be there, but it's also okay to help get you out of there. And you don't have to do it alone. We're social creatures. We're not here to be alone. We're here to have connection. And we talk about the lone wolf syndrome, and many of us have that lone wolf syndrome. But you can have that and still have your safe people that you connect with.
Mhm. And it's so, so important. And I think too is recognizing the people that aren't really safe anymore, and maybe not safe in a way like they're dangerous or whatever the case is, but recognizing that they don't really make you feel good when you're around them.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I would
Such a hard one because we want connection, but then it's also really realizing that fuck, these people are not good for me.
well, we were laughing because some of our most, traumatized friends are the most fun, right? They're just like, "Yeah," it's just, like, so fun, and then all of a sudden they're not.
Yeah.
And it's like, "It's not you, it's me."
Yeah, yeah, totally,
So
totally.
it's really important to understand that we're shifting and we're changing, and I think the more we start to have that awareness, the less we're able to tolerate people around us who are not on this journey to be more self-aware, and they don't all they're not always the safe people that we thought that they were.
Mhm,
We're
mhm.
all evolving. There's, like, all of these forms of evolution that are happening. I find really interesting that I don't have a lot of childhood friends that I stay in touch with,
Yeah, me neither.
but I have my solid, like, 3 or 4, like, solid, solid. I don't advertise, like, my birthday or anything like
Me
that, but
neither.
my solid friends, like, there's a text message, there's a phone call, there's a follow-up, and it's like, these are my people.
Yeah, yeah.
These are my people.
Yeah. And I think, there's always that saying where it's like if you count your friends on like one hand, you're doing really good. And as you age, like just for me personally, maybe not everybody, like you really start to value your time,
Mhm.
and it's so precious, and who you want to give it to.
And do I really wanna be around it? So, I work with quantum human design, and so when I look at charts and people come in and they feel like they're very isolated, they don't have a lot of friends, and I'm looking at their chart and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like, you're not here to have friends." And it's not that you're not here to have friends, but you're here to be a pioneer. And are you an Aquarius?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm an Aquarius,
Yeah.
and we're very forward thinking. We're out in the future somewhere. The work that I do, like, humanity isn't ready for it, right? They're just not ready for my work. Very few are the people who are ready to step in and, like, have accountability and really want transformation.
Yeah.
And
Well, because
so
people don't want to change. They think that they want to change for like 5 minutes, and then their ego's like, let's just stay over here where it's safer.
right,
Right.
right, scary. And so so when I'm looking at human design charts, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I can tell you my chart is all about doing work with the collective and being a pioneer." And then you add to that, that I'm an Aquarian and it's like all futuristic and it's about humanity. Like I'm here to serve women. And through serving women, I touch like again, like I touch their kids, I touch their partners, and that makes me happy because
Yeah.
I believe that the man is the head
Yep.
but the women are the neck, and we move the head around,
Yeah.
so why would I wanna work with him when I know that if by working with her, so much more is gonna shift and change?
Yeah, no, totally, totally. I
So,
love that. I love
yeah,
that. I
yeah.
think that human design is crazy. Like, if you guys that are listening, you don't know what human design is, I highly recommend that you look into it. Um, talk to Akari. It's the theme of the show today is
Yes.
no. But for real though, because you can get some really great insights to who you are. Like I am one of those crazy people. I guess I'm not crazy. I don't think it's crazy that I live a lot of ways, base a lot of decisions on my astrology.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm like, let's see what's happening in the stars. Why do I feel like this? And then I do my astrology and I'm like, oh, obviously that's
Duh,
why.
duh. But
Yeah.
see, that's the part that I'm talking about is that we go to school to forget how to human.
Yeah. Well, that's by design. That's by design.
And my work here is to remind you to remember who you are
Yeah. And
and
connect
to
with
go
yourself.
to let go of the conditioning. And one thing that I'm going to add to that is trauma is not the event, it is how your body perceived that threat.
Yeah.
And
I always say perception versus reality.
yes, and on top of that is who was around you to create safety for you. Because if there was no one around to create safety, then the trauma sets in even
Yeah.
deeper.
Yeah.
And so the reason why we're all triggered and walking around with disgust and with all of these horrible feelings inside of us is because at some point we did not feel safe to confide in someone what we had experienced. And having that kind of communication between you and your children is just precious.
It is. It
It's
is.
precious. It's the unconditional love,
Mhm.
unconditional trust that you can give, and it's not something, and like you said, like, it's not something that you just know how to do. It's something that you learn how to
You
do.
learn how to do it. I didn't just come out of my mom's womb like, "Yeah, I'm
Well,
so
and
self-aware."
especially
It's like,
because
I think I had
you
to get
didn't
really
have it.
hurt. I had to get really hurt to be self-aware.
You didn't have it from her, so she's not like she
Yeah,
handed that down to you and said,
yeah.
"Here, like, this is your part of your legacy." Like, it's gonna be a part of your legacy now with your children. I mean,
Mhm.
that's what gets me so excited. My daughter is, 24. She is a wildlife biologist,
So
and
amazing.
this was based off of her human design chart. She needed to be out in nature, she needed to be near the water, and she just moved, right? She just moved because she needed to be around nature, and I'm in the city much more than I am in nature. She's thriving, like, her whole space is just there's a new air in her, and all of it is in her chart.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
chart. It's pretty wild.
It really is, and for those of you that are skeptics, I think some people believe, and I totally disagree with this, but I think some people or a lot of people believe that, astrology, human design, intuition, all that stuff is the devil. That's what they think. And I think that that is wrong. I think that that's bullshit. I think that our intuition and our astrology and all of that stuff is how we reconnect back to God
Yeah. Well, I
or
think,
source or who whatever you believe. I
some
like
of
to
us
always put that in.
and then some of us believe religion is the devil.
Well, but the thing is like you're right. I agree with you, but we're connecting to source or the universe or God, whatever it is, that higher being, if you will. Anything that tries to pull you away from your intuition is trying to pull you away from God or a source or soul or whatever you words that you want to use because everyone uses different words.
Yeah,
But, like, they always say, like, God is inside of you. So
yeah,
it's like, if you're disconnecting from your intuition and the stars and all of those things, you literally that's the devil. That's the devil.
yeah.
Tries to pull you away from that. And
Well, these esoteric, pieces that, there's systems that create human design are really old esoteric books of wisdom.
mhm,
And the beautiful part of what I love about human design is that they it's created by different time periods in different places. So it has the Eastern Western astrology, the Hindu chakra system,
mhm,
it has the I Ching from the Chinese Book of Wisdom, the Kabbalah that has the Tree of Life,
mhm,
and then to make it more complicated, we add quantum physics to it.
mhm, which is
So
very real, which has been proven, okay,
So
people?
we start putting these, 5 different systems in one place, and you start to go, "Oh." And exactly what you're saying is if you're not taking care of your temple, this is your temple. This is
Mhm.
really when I go to church, I go here, right? It's like
Yeah.
church. If you're not feeding your church, if you're not cleaning it, if you're not taking care of it, if you're not caring, it is like you are not caring for God. This is source. This is right here. We're at the image of him. It's the heartbeat that connects us to each other.
Literally though, and I think that people get I think when you're being pulled away from yourself, you're disconnected from source. And I think that more people need to be hyper aware of that and like the divide that we're seeing right now. I mean, Akari and I have some very different beliefs on a lot of things. The divide that we're seeing because we're very aware is like that shit is intentional. That's like pulling everyone, it's pinning everyone against each other. You're forgetting who you are, you're forgetting who you should be connected to, which is your fucking self. And everybody is just like it's like this crazy I'm calling it a divide and conquer, good versus evil. That's what I've been saying. Um, but it's like you're just disconnected from yourself. If we're talking about not trauma and all that stuff is like disconnected from source.
In human design, we have 2027 as a time frame of systems shifting again.
Is it like Rise of the Sleeping Phoenix or something?
Yes, it is The Rise of the Sleeping
Yes.
Phoenix. And, and it's just really interesting to start watching the dismantling of different government systems around the world. And we're so sheltered by our countries, and only so much is allowed to get in, which is why I think it was such a big deal for the US to get rid of TikTok the way
Mhm.
that we were experiencing it, was because we were actually getting news, right, from all over the world, and understanding what's really going on versus what is being shared with us.
Yeah, well, media manipulation. They only tell
Totally.
you what you like, what they want you to know so that they can control the narrative. Like, that's what's happening. We know this. I mean, that's why they've started programming you in kindergarten. Um, I totally agree with you. I mean, I think what's happening in the States right now is horrendous. It's absolutely horrible.
Chaos.
I do agree that I don't think illegal immigrants should be there. That's just my thoughts on it. How it's being done, I completely disagree with.
But
I th-
that's the systemic
yeah,
trauma that they're creating,
absolutely. Yeah.
right? Because how do you keep others down? So I'm a historian by schooling, right? That's what
Yeah.
I went to go learn because I have a lot of curiosity and root cause.
Yeah.
Why did this happen?
Yeah.
And it is to me, and it's not a word that's been used often enough. I call it a post-feudal system. Like,
Okay.
we are still in this feudalistic way where we're given the scraps while everyone else is eating grass-fed beef.
Yeah, I wish I could afford grass-fed beef. Grass-fed beef would be a
But
lot
but, you
healthier.
know like, really, really think about it.
Yeah.
There's still so much control over the masses, and the underground work that I feel like needs to continue to happen is happening. Do I think that illegal immigrants, I mean, I think that they contribute just as much,
Mhm.
and they've become a real part of our everyday life, of our commercial, like the commerce, right? Especially in California.
For sure. And I can see that for sure. I guess for someone, so I live in Canada, you know this. But I'm a dual citizen of the US. And so are my children. They also have citizenship. I had to fight tooth and nail to get. So I I can definitely see the positives for sure. Definitely not denying that. I can also see the side of which they might be taking advantage of a system. Some of them, not all of them. I want to make sure everyone knows that taking advantage of the system a little bit.
Yeah, and I can see it because obviously I live here.
Yeah.
I speak Spanish. I
Of course, yeah.
No, I mean, I get it. Um, there's always someone abusing the system.
Of course. Yeah.
What makes it right and what makes it wrong? We can talk about values, uh, but it's also humanity, right?
Mhm.
And people needing to stay alive. There's a lot of intricacies that I don't agree with as well, just like you. I I do know that people don't leave their home countries because they have a great life.
100%.
And I also believe that it is trauma that pushes us to move away from our homes.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I was out on my own at 17.
So it tells us it tells a deeper story,
It does.
and it tells a deeper story of what is happening in their countries of origin, and sometimes, unfortunately, those stories have been caused by a macro, which is the states.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's definitely I think it's such like, it's just such a hard thing because, like, there's some people that need to be removed because they are violent offenders. Like, they're a violent offenders, they're repeat people.
But that's not what's being pulled off the streets, right? You're pulling people off that have nothing, they have no record, they have nothing, and they're being pulled off the streets. They're not and the way that this is being done, that's creating this systemic trauma, they don't even come back home, like, kids don't even know if their parents are coming home. People who are citizens are being removed as well. So this isn't the first time. When you look at history, you can look at the Zoot Suits riots that we were
For
having
sure.
in California, and we're targeting just one kind of people, and then we're gonna target another kind of people, and at the end, you're just removing people without without a process. Like, you don't even have a
Yeah, and it's like you definitely wanna look at, like, a better number 1, a better way to go about it. Let's start there first. Or looking at the people who might be undocumented and how they're contributing to their community and offering them a way to stay, like a
yeah.
legal way to stay, and not being, like, deporting these people. But I also think that, like, Barack Obama deported lots of people.
And there's no again, like, we're not saying, like, you shouldn't deport people, but there are ways that we can do it that is much more humane, that makes
Yes, I
sense.
agree. I
If
agree. I
you
I don't
if you
agree with the
listen
way.
if you listen to Claudia Sheinbaum
Mhm.
and her plea to the world, which is, let's create opportunity in these Latin American countries and these countries around the world that allow them to be able to feed their families,
Yep,
no one's going to leave.
yep,
But that's the basis of it. These Latin American countries, or countries where we say they're third world countries, they have enough money to be a country. It's the people that don't have enough money to survive. So instead of focusing on war, why don't we focus on creating opportunity for these countries for them to be able to, be self-sustainable and sovereign?
yep, yeah, that's true too. And if they're gonna be here, let's figure out why they're here, how are they contributing, and how can they continue to contribute?
There's so many ways that we can be creative and make opportunity. I know for myself, when I need support, I have a virtual assistant who helps me in the Philippines.
Yep, yep,
And for me it's important to pay her a living wage
yeah,
that helps her survive sovereign, and independently. Now, not everyone thinks this way, and it's okay. I'm not here to change your mind, but to me it's important that the more I create opportunity for her, the less likely it is that she's going to, be desperate for money. And she lives in a community where they all help each other. So it's almost like I'm helping her community
yeah,
continue to survive.
yeah, totally.
And so if we just start there, helping other communities out there to educate these young kids who want to get a job but don't know where to start, I think that would be great.
Yeah,
It
no,
would
I
give us
totally
a
agree.
we could support them, in our work, which means that they can feed their families. It's like a cycle. It's like
Yeah,
a
totally, 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 it is. And like I said, how it's being done, not good. But there's a lot of things like that that we have to look at, like what you're saying. Like it's like your body, all the moving parts
Yes,
that aren't being looked at.
if we start focusing on ways to create more more business for other people, who have the capacity to do certain things,
Hmm.
the more you help them, the more they can help themselves. The less immigration issues we're going to have. I don't see why anyone would want to come to the States,
Especially not right now.
and especially not right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But like my family in Mexico,
yeah.
they don't want to come here.
No.
They're like, I have someone comes to clean my house every day. I have someone who comes and helps me cook and take care of my kids. And and I can live my life calm and peace here. And then I'm like, okay, well, not here. I can't have someone come and clean every day. I mean, that's like, that's Oprah style, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's not for me.
and so just think about the luxuries that they enjoy as a lifestyle, as a culture. Like, why did my mother come here? It wasn't because, she wanted a better life. She was running away from her home life.
Yeah, yeah, from trauma.
And unfortunately, she came and she recreated her life, her home life here with us. So it's been a really hard battle. And I've had this conversation with another woman in Florida where there's a hyphen right here. It's like you're this American, Cuban American, Filipino American, Mexican American. That hyphen separates us. And there's a micro, which is our culture, and then there's a macro, which is the mainstream. So we come here to this country and to other countries where we're living a duality, two different rules. If I'm too, cultural, I get I get shamed by mainstream. If I'm too mainstream, I get shamed by cultural. It's like you can't make everyone happy.
No, no,
Yeah.
you can't. You can't. And I
So
think that what's great about Canada or North America, we'll say, is that we do have those freedoms to be able to people want to express themselves through religion or however it is that they're doing. Like they do have a lot of freedoms to do so here. They do.
well,
Th-
we say we do here too.
Huh. I mean, we do. We're having this conversation with certain things. You know what I mean?
I get
But
it.
I think that something on top of all the great things we talked about today, but something else that people can realize is that like two people can have views that maybe don't align and still get along really well.
Yes, because it's not personal.
It's not personal, and I
It's not
think that
personal.
and I think when more people realize that a lot of these things are happening, this is my perception of a lot of these things are happening to divide. That is
Oh, yeah.
it's intentional. We're
Yes.
being divided on purpose.
Yes.
There's marionettes all
Every
over the place.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
puppets. Trump's a puppet. Clintons are a puppets. They're all puppets. Everyone's a puppet. And if you think that that's who's in control, I hate to break it to you,
It's the Wizard of Oz.
it's the Wizard of Oz.
It is the Wizard of
We're off to see the wizard.
Yeah. I mean, the yellow brick road, I mean, come on. We're all on that yellow brick road.
Yeah, going to what is it called? Where do they go?
World City.
Yes, the Emerald City. I mean, with that, we should wrap it up. I mean, you guys can read between the lines. We know who's running the show.
Yes.
We
Yes.
know who's running the show. If you
I
don't
think
know,
we I think
maybe
we're
now you
very
know.
I think we're very fortunate to be able to actually see a lot more than what we were exposed to growing up, because the cover-ups were actually, like, real. Like,
Yeah,
mm, there was no such thing as conspiracy theories being proven right, and now, like, we're just like, "Okay, so that was right,
that one was
and
true.
that was right,
Oh,
and
that
that
one
was
was true
right."
too. Oh, that
Mhm,
was true?
mhm.
Oh my god, we're not conspiracy theorists? There's this one guy and I keep seeing his videos pop up and he wears a tinfoil hat. Like obviously it's cuz it's funny and he posts these about conspiracies. It's just funny cuz of the fucking hat. But they're all true. It's all true what he's putting out there. It's like, yeah, that's a fact. Now that's real. It's just so funny. It looks like a big
Well,
Hershey kiss.
I'm just happy that, as the veil thins, some of us are ready for it, and I don't mind having hard conversations. On the contrary, I think they're important, and
Mhm.
there's not enough courageous people who are willing to have these conversations,
For sure.
because they divide. Even that divides, right? Because people are not comfortable enough to hear your take, or people
Yeah.
don't wanna go deep.
Yeah. No, no, no.
And,
Because that
and
would be required to you would have to connect to yourself in order to go deep.
my design is all about wide and deep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a crazy world out there. But if you think what you're seeing is who's running the show, the answer is no. And I'm a rhymer now. With that, we will wrap up. So, Akari, I want you to tell everybody where they can find you, and I will link everything in all of the places.
You can find me on Instagram. I think that's the easiest place.
Best way.
Yes, UHKARE breathwork.
It'll
Akari.
all be linked. Everywhere where this is available, will be linked. These clips on Instagram, they'll all have your stuff,
And if you want to dive into your quantum human design, UHKARE.com.
and that will be linked as well. Thank you so much for this awesome conversation. It's been
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you for the opportunity to come and connect after
Oh
so
my
many
god, of
years.
course, after all those years. Well, we'll have to do it again. We'll talk about other things. As more things come to light,
Yeah, no
we will
kidding.
talk about other things.
Thanks for having me. Happy
Thanks.
Friday.
Thanks for listening, guys.